Hello. It's the Minnesota Pubcast. I'm Molly Burke. I'm here with my co-host, Jason McGovern.
Hi. How you doing?
Hi. Oh.
Sorry. Hi. I was actually looking forward tonight to being able to use one of these, the pots is what they're called, and to actually pot that down and have a really nice, smooth fade.
It was abrupt.
And then that didn't work, and then, of course, on the computer it doesn't work right. So, hey, all right,
whatever.
Good start. Good
Whatever.
start. Welcome back, guys.
You know what?
It's been a
We're
little
here.
break, so that's why I'm rusty. That's what it was. I was rusty because it's, what did we take, a week off?
We took 1 week off. I know once a week is kind of rough for us.
It's not enough. It's not enough. We'll get back. And now that the Wild are out of the playoffs, pretty much, they're done. Then
Jason,
we'll be back to...
they have a whole nother game.
They have 4 more games if they had any chance, but they suck, and they have no chance of
They
beating
have
Chicago.
another
No
game.
chance of beating Chicago. No chance. Anyway.
Okay, well, that's not what you were saying last week before they started the series.
Oh, I know. And then, boy, we hit a warm or a hot goalie over there, too. Anyway.
Well, and I think they played really well the first game. I think they played... they played horribly last
the
night.
second game was really bad, too.
The second game, yeah, that was
Sunday
4-1.
night
Last
game.
night was just like 1-0. Are you fucking couldn't even get a goal? Like that just pisses me off. No one was making goals, so whatever.
Well, and
The
we
second
weren't
game was
making
bad.
very much out of our chances either. I mean, they didn't play that poorly, but they just
I
our
know
guys,
they look
our goal
good.
scorers aren't
They
scoring
really
goals.
They do look good, but
Yep.
they're you're right. That's exactly it. I'm going tomorrow, by the way.
Oh wow, that I want to. You gotta text me after that and just let me know what the vibe was.
Yeah.
Either way, win or loss.
I
I'm
feel like
curious
it's
to
going
see
to
how
be
it's gonna
hyped
go.
up the most ever because we just want to see them get to the next game so badly. And I think they want to win too. I really think they want to win.
See, I think you're gonna see. I don't. People. First of all, anybody who goes to a game, especially a playoff game, you're a pretty big fan usually. So you're not gonna go there and be apathetic. But I gotta feel the season ticket holder that's been at every game this year. You're going tomorrow night going, all right, well, see you guys next year. I mean, you're not going in thinking, all right, we just got to go to Chicago and then we'll come back. And no. I don't think there's a whole lot of hope out there for that.
We need a miracle, man. Miracle on ice,
Yeah.
round 2.
Yeah, I don't think that he'll Herb Brooks, right? That was
Yeah.
the coach. I don't think he's coming back from the grave to bring these guys back from the
Herb.
doldrums.
I miss him.
But anyway, so the whole
Never
point of
knew
that.
him. Miss him, never knew him.
Missed him. Oh, I just really miss him. But the point of that is we should be able to figure out a way where we're going to do 2 shows a week again here.
Right.
So anyway, but we got to start about the fight. We haven't
we
talked
had this-
since the fight yet.
Right. It was a big weekend of sports, and for us, still in the playoffs for hockey. An extra big weekend for Minnesota. But man, this is usually the time of the year where I'm just like ready to kind of slide into summer and like maybe go to a few Twins games and like not really give a shit about baseball. But I've been really pumped about all these different sports been going on. The Derby was this weekend. The fight was this weekend.
Did you have a horse in the Derby? Like, did you bet on that? Or
No, actually, this was the first year where I really didn't do any pre-reading to the Derby.
Okay.
Not like I ever
didn't
bet,
pay
but-
I didn't even watch the race. I didn't see any of it. I didn't bet on anything. And I usually at least just pick a horse and
Sure.
put something down and at least have a something to care about. But I didn't even care about it this year. And I was working during it, so that sucked.
Yeah, that sucks. That really sucks.
But yeah, you had that. You had Twins. You had Twins sweep the White Sox. Twins swept a series. Did they do that once last year?
I don't know.
Jeez, but
Probably
they actually look
not.
all right. So
They
we got
look
something.
fine.
You know what? Hey, maybe the boys of summer will give us something to look forward to because, like I said, the boys of winter are done. And I really think though that the Twins are going to bring up their prospects. They might be good this year. I don't know what's happening.
I mean,
but they could be
we're a
good.
month in. Let's not get too excited.
I know, and they were actually they were 500 last year, like 2 weeks ago this time too. So it's hard to get too pumped. But again, we don't even have the prospects up here right now, and we're still winning some games. So
Yeah, we're true Minnesota fans. Don't get too excited, Jason. We're only a month in. Don't worry, we're gonna lose against Chicago anyway. Oh well, here we go.
you couldn't be more Minnesotan than right there. That was it. That is a Minnesota sports fan in a nutshell.
Oh, it was a good run, guys. It was really fun to watch you guys because the Excel is a really nice arena and Target Field's really nice too.
Yeah. No, at Target Field Sunday, went to the game, and it was empty. Beautiful day, 75 degrees and
So
sunny,
weird.
and there was nobody there. It was unbelievable. You
That's
could go
so
sit wherever
weird.
you wanted. I mean, it's because they're still not considered good. I mean, they aren't good, but they're 3 games out of first place.
It's
They're
beginning of
they're
the
a team to
year.
go watch.
It's the beginning of the year. I rather go, like, I don't get too pumped to go until, like, and give me 2 more weeks. And then I'll be like, all right.
Sure,
to find
it
the game
is early
here.
May. It is
Yeah.
very early, but still 75 degrees on a Sunday. I'm
know.
thinking of the families out there that you can go get a $9 ticket and go sit wherever you want. I mean, this is the
Right.
time to go bring the kids and and have
Bring
a
the
day at the
kids.
ballpark.
Bring the kids. I don't know. I had a good day not at the ballpark. People were out and about out here. Like
What do you mean?
enjoying,
Just in Minneapolis?
enjoying the neighborhoods and enjoying the restaurants and
Just because of the weather, you
biking
mean?
and-
Everybody
yeah,
just out and
yeah.
about. Yeah. What
yeah,
a
riding
great weekend to
bikes
do
and
it.
running and yeah, it was a perfect weekend.
Well, did you see the fight?
I saw the fight.
The fight of the century.
The fight of the century.
What were your impressions?
I was happy I watched it. I watched it with kind of a bunch of people. It was rough because it was towards the end of the night when everyone had been drinking. Most people were pretty good, but there were a couple people that were like, falling asleep. And
Well, that fight will do it.
and it was I'm happy I watched it. It was underwhelming.
Were you watching it with people that watch much boxing?
No.
Okay, so it was pretty,
No, but I was with a bunch of, dudes who aren't like totally clueless.
still no sports and stuff, right? Because I watched it with a bunch of people that really don't know boxing at all. I mean, I was the expert in the room, and I remember looking back on it, like even on the way home, I was going, Jesus, I said a couple of things that were really stupid, like just making saying things about. I said Floyd Mayweather, if he goes 50-0, could be one of the best boxers of all time, or I might even said he could be the best boxer of all time. That is not true. Now that I've thought about it, now that I've thought about all of the other great boxers that have had to fight other great boxers and how he hasn't. I mean, I built him up for this fight, but. I want to know, were the people that you were watching it with, were they complaining the whole time? Were they saying,
No.
this fight sucks, why is he running around, or any of that?
No, I wouldn't say that.
Okay.
I think they were just mostly observing and enjoying the show. And then, I don't know, after a while, it was underwhelming because he did exactly what he was expected to do, which was like disappointing, but also that's how he wins.
Right.
If you want to win, you do what you know is going to make you win.
No, and I mean, some guy in one of the columns I was reading today listed all the fighters that would go toe to toe with you in the ring. And,
for sure.
I mean, Muhammad Ali is the best example. I mean, look at him now. And he had, I think, was it the fight? I don't remember who it was. Oh, God, one of his last fights though, where they went the distance. The guy was asked. It was Larry Holmes, I think, but he was asking the referee to stop the fight. He kept looking at the ref like, "I'm beating the shit out of this guy. He won't go down, but I am literally killing him."
It's not a clean fight.
No, and he did. I mean, we've all seen what happened to Muhammad Ali. He's got brain injuries and major issues because of it. And I think Money Mayweather, and his name is a perfect nickname. He's smart and he knows how to hype a fight, make money off a fight, and then not get hit. I mean, that's what he does. That's Mayweather boxing. Mm-hmm. And I think what we all were hoping was that Pacquiao could be the guy that would come in and make him box, because only Pacquiao could be fast enough and strong enough to really like corner him and make him have to swing.
Yeah.
And the first 6 rounds, you actually got a little bit of that.
A little bit of it.
I mean, I had it, and I'm a dork. I always kind of keep a scorecard in my head. So I'm always going round for round, who's up 10-9.
Sometimes I can't tell when they're landing punches, though. It's hard to. It's hard when they're moving fast. It's like, okay, did it hit their face, or did he actually block it and did it hit the edge of his arm or whatever?
Even the announcers were talking
because
about.
they don't. I'm sorry, but they don't really react.
Well, no.
In slow motion, you can see like a little reaction, and then they're back in it so fast. It's like there's no blood. There was no bruising, no blood, and it's like, come on.
Well, no, and you talk about that reaction, that they have to react so quick. Like, they can't act stunned or because the second they do, now they've just been hit 4 more times.
Right.
So yeah, it's instant. And what the announcers on HBO or HBO/Showtime were saying was that even the judges themselves could kind of be swayed, because you had such a Pacquiao crowd in there that anytime Pacquiao threw and maybe made contact with any part of Mayweather, the crowd went nuts. So think about too, if you're the judge and they kind of have their backs to you, or you know what I mean, where you can't really necessarily see the punch, even though that's your whole job, that you could be swayed by the crowd, which I thought was kind of interesting. That you, but yeah, it's that hard to see it. But there also weren't any punches thrown in that fight. I mean, the thing coming into this, again, what we thought maybe something would happen here is because Pacquiao throws a ton of punches. He comes in and just swings, and he throws upwards of 1,000 punches.
He's
in a fight.
moving. He moves, and he's bouncing, and he's throwing punches, and Mayweather really doesn't move.
Well, no,
at all.
Mayweather lets you come to him,
Right.
and then the second you get close enough to hit him, he ducks out,
Right.
and then starts over, and then does the same thing over and over. And every once in a while, he'll counterpunch. That's it. That's his move. And I mean, the way he does it, when a lefty throws a power punch, throws that left hook,
Yep.
he just shoots to his right, and he's like a ghost. I mean, he's just gone. Like, I don't think Pacquiao's ever fought anybody that can do that.
But he doesn't have that like bounciness that other boxers have. Do you know what I mean? Like,
No,
you watch Pacquiao, and you're almost like, wow, like he looks like he's working harder, and Mayweather doesn't look like he's working at all.
Well, yes,
And when he
'cause
moves,
he's
it's just
so
smooth
slick.
it's
he's
smooth and
so
it's quick.
Slick. Speaking of the bouncing, did you see Jimmy Kimmel behind Pacquiao?
I
on
did.
The entrance.
So,
Oh my God, it's hilarious.
so one of my favorite parts about actually watching the fight was not the fight itself. It was, and I'm sure everyone else is with me here, but I loved looking at the first few rows and seeing who was in the rows. And most people I didn't notice. Like I saw the football player, what's his name? Tom Brady.
Tom Brady and the owner of the Patriots, I think, were in the first row.
Yeah, and then and then everyone else I didn't really recognize, but they were a bunch of rich white people, and
A lot of rich women, you could
and
tell.
a lot of women, and they all were like, I loved it because I loved watching their expressions, and they had the fake, like the really small fake noses and the long blonde hair, and they were all kind of wearing like the bad, expensive, glittery dresses.
And they were all seeing their first boxing match of their lives.
And they're kind of sitting there, and I'm like, man, if I was in the front row, I would have someone teach me how to just like sit perfectly so my face looks perfect the whole time. Like,
Well,
I'm there
that's
for
the
a
whole point
reason.
of being there, right?
How many people are watching this? Do you think?
The whole, hundreds of, 100 million people probably saw that at least.
I
I don't
think
know.
so.
I don't even know how many.
Yeah,
people
and I
watched that.
actually I never
Worldwide,
even heard the
I
audience.
have no idea.
But oh my god, that was one of my favorite things, was seeing that, and just the enormity of the event and the extravagance of Mayweather, like having Justin Bieber and having the Burger King, and then you see the opposite from Pacquiao, who has like Jesus on his his robe, and who has a very different crew of people with him,
Well,
and
did you
people are
see-
going crazy for him.
I was the only one still paying attention this early on in the group that I was with, but they were putting a robe on Pacquiao, and he told him no, and he just went out in a t-shirt, which I don't think I've ever seen a boxer do. And then and again, you talk about opposite worlds. You got Mayweather in that leather thing with the big gold zippers. They're like 4 inches long. Like, he just looked like a complete buffoon. But that's Mayweather.
He is a
He's going
complete
over the
buffoon.
top. Yeah, that's what he does. So overall, I think that we got exactly what we expected. Oh, we haven't thrown this part in there too, though. Did you hear that Pacquiao was actually injured before the fight?
No, I didn't.
He had a torn rotator cuff in his right
nice.
shoulder.
Really
so,
nice.
And there's a
So
lot
that was
of
comfortable.
Well, there's a lot of controversy around that. I mean, now his trainer's coming out saying he shouldn't have fought. Which now you say that, but then if you back out of that fight 3 weeks before it, which is when he hurt himself. We've been waiting 7 years for this, or 6 years for this. It would have been it would have been horrible.
Right.
And I guess the other way of looking at it too is, I think Pacquiao knows he's not getting hit. Like, he knows that this isn't a dangerous fight for him. He knows he either has to go attack Mayweather or he loses, but I don't think he's ever going, I could be hurt here.
I could be knocked out.
Right. So I think he might have just been like, you know what? For $100 million, who cares? I mean, literally, who cares? I'll take this money, go run for president, and win, and run the Philippines for the rest of my life. I mean,
But I think there's gonna be. Do you think there's gonna be a rematch? And would you watch it?
well, at first I thought there was no chance of a rematch. Now with this injury thing, which this could also be bullshit. Like, this whole thing could be bullshit.
Sure.
Maybe he's not hurt at all. But that would be the only way I would watch a rematch.
Well, and Pacquiao was like, "I won." I mean, of course he's gonna say that. I don't know. I mean,
no
maybe
way he
he
believed
is.
that in his heart. There's no way.
Like,
There's no
well,
way.
yes, I won. Okay, really, dude? Like, no, you didn't.
And I think that was Max Kellerman. I can't remember that guy's, but he was going at him. He's like, well,
Oh, God, he
on
was
my
really-
scorecard and all the judges' scorecards and Letterman's, and he's like, nobody had you even close, dude. Like,
Yeah.
how do you explain this? That also reminds me of a very interesting clip that I saw the other day, though. Former HBO announcer, he might have passed away. And God, I cannot believe I can't think of his name. Larry Merchant? Is it Larry Merchant? Anyway, he was interviewing Mayweather after a fight, and I remember seeing this at the time. This is probably 5 years ago or something, but I don't remember what he asked, but Mayweather was like, "Fuck you, man! Like, you never give me a fair fucking interview. Fuck you! You're a piece of fucking shit!" Like, in his face, this guy's 65, 70 years old. He's in his face, and the guy is like, he kind of looks at the camera, the reporter guy,
The interviewer?
and he's like, "Do you really just sit?" And he looks at me and goes, "If I were half my age, I'd fucking kick your ass."
That's what he said?
Right to Floyd Mayweather's face in a boxing ring. Like, it's one of the coolest clips you've ever seen. I'll have to pull it up for you. It's one of the coolest. Go YouTube that right now. It is one of the coolest things I've ever seen.
Mayweather, you don't get the luxury of having an interviewer, the biggest asshole that you are, and the fact that you are undefeated. Someone's going to ask you some hard questions.
You would hope.
And they're going to be a little unfair maybe sometimes, but learn how to anser them, dude.
Well, we'll continue on with the controversy here.
You're doing fine, buddy.
Did you hear that he didn't let God, I got better with names, or show prep. Maybe Rachel Nichols, ESPN or former ESPN reporter, not sure who she writes for now, and Michelle Beadle, who I do know still is at or is back at ESPN. These two reporters, they obviously brought up the domestic abuse stuff,
sure,
and he banned them and revoked their credentials on Fight Night. He said, you can still come to Vegas, you can cover everything around the fight, but you will not be at the fight. Because Mayweather, he was the promoter of that fight. Like, that was all him. Everything about that. The ticket prices, everything was set by him. And he got some backlash for that, too. And so why don't we go into that a little bit? Are we supposed to feel bad? Are we bad people for watching that fight over the weekend? Is there something wrong with us because he's a bad person?
Apparently we're supposed to feel very guilty that we're essentially paying a domestic abuser to entertain us.
What's your
a lot of money?
What's your take on that? What's your comeback to that? Or do you have a comeback? Or do you agree? I don't know.
Man, I have a hard time with this all the time. I have a hard time with this. Like, I put this on our grid, but the same thing happens in the NFL. The same thing happens like with Woody Allen would be like an instance for me where it hits a little bit closer home because it's just more relatable because he abused a child, and I watch his movies probably more than I watch the NFL. You know what I mean? So I had to really think in my head like how I felt about the situation and how I felt like it's really that's like a struggle for me. I know it's like sounds crazy, but for me it comes down to, in these instances, I kind of trust the law, and if someone is convicted of a crime like that, I think I would avoid them more than if.
Well, but even if they are convicted and then they do their time, I mean, like, he still has. I mean,
I know.
Speaking of Mayweather specifically, he still has a right to fight. Then, right?
Right.
So,
right. I guess that's what I'm saying is I trust the law, and these people have done their time.
Because I think
but then there's a lot of allegations swirling around that they still do it.
Well, the hypocritical part of all of this, and
I'm sorry. So Woody Allen, for instance, he was never convicted. He never served time, but someone found him innocent. So I have to trust that his innocence.
Don't we all assume he's guilty though? Anyway,
I know that's the hard part.
I'm not saying that's right. I think we all just say that was where the system got it wrong or something.
In some way or another, yeah, I guess we're kind of like, well, he kind of was a creep. You know what I mean? But I don't know how to kind of balance all that in my mind.
Well, I think the Woody Allen thing, and I think artists, that's a different issue. And maybe we should come back to that.
But we're all paying them to entertain us.
Right.
And we're buying their things. We can say, no, I'm not going to support his movie. I'm not going to buy the fight. I'm not going to do things that I know in some way or another, even if it feels minor to me, I'm going to consciously make an effort to avoid this person getting paid and supported for what they do. Does that make sense?
Yes, but I guess
it was just really hard because it's a really broad statement.
I guess my thing is I'm not going to Woody Allen, to Floyd Mayweather, to Adrian Peterson. I'm not going to any of these people to babysit my nephew. Okay, that's not going to happen.
or
not because it would,
or
not just because it's not possible.
Your girlfriend or your wife.
Right.
Hey, just hang out with her for a little bit.
Exactly.
Don't say anything wrong, honey.
But what I do enjoy them doing is, when let's just get specifically to Adrian Peterson and Floyd Mayweather, to NFL and fighting. I enjoy seeing them commit acts of violence against other men for my pleasure. That's what I'm into. I like watching them beat the shit out of each other, whether it be boxing or football or whatever. And UFC is one of the biggest sports in this country too right now. It's a blood sport. I mean, they're literally blood sports. Mm-hmm. We watch it for the violence. And then we have the nerve to pick at them when they're violent off the field. Now, granted, a good human being has to be able to separate the two.
Well, it's work.
But
that's their job.
That's not necessarily easy. And it's boxing especially. There's not a whole
Like-
lot of
Like in boxing and in football, you are going against somebody, you are fighting someone, you are abusing someone. You're not. It's not abuse, because abuse is when the other person essentially says no. And,
right. Both people are
right.
are both in on this.
Yes,
one. Yeah.
they're both in on it. So it's like, completely different. So I don't like to give them any excuses. But I do understand
But
where someone could be inherently violent in their work, how it's easier to roll over into their daily life.
I just think it's really hypocritical, and I think it's hypocritical of us to attack someone for being violent when we literally pay them millions of dollars to be violent for our entertainment. And if you're one of those people who has never watched boxing and you avoid boxing because of what it is, and then you hate Mayweather and what he does, then I can maybe.
But I don't know if it's
get down with it,
hypocritical, because inherently that the good thing is to not abuse someone, whether it's physically and mentally, emotionally, and even if you're a boxer or a football player or whatever in your work life, we expect those men to make that distinction between work and real life.
Agreed, but I think that we need to look in the mirror a little bit because I think that if that same thing that allows them to be abusive is that same thing that we love about watching them abuse each other, when they're into it.
No, I understand. I
same-
understand where it's easier for someone who is constantly violent in their work life. I understand.
No,
where there's
what I'm
an
saying is
easier
that we all
tendency.
have that, or we wouldn't enjoy watching it on TV. Like, I obviously still have
But
that
I
in
don't.
me
Under,
too.
but it's different when people, like I just said, it's different when people are making the conscious decision to fight against each other. There is a difference in that than watching someone abuse somebody else of less power.
Right.
NFL teams have the same power against each other. They've consciously made the choice to fight.
And all I'm saying is, what I'm saying is, I think that in society we have this undercurrent of violence.
Well, yeah,
That's just always there, and we're all capable of it. And yeah, we most of us don't do it, obviously. And you are a better person if you don't. Like, I'm not excusing it, but I'm just saying I really do think the spectators themselves need to kind of go, what are we? Why? How do we expect these people to be perfect when what we pay them to do is extreme violence?
But that's what I'm. How do we change that then? Like, how do we change that as a culture? Because we expect them to know the difference between work and regular life.
No,
That's what we expect.
What I'm getting at is maybe we shouldn't desire so much violence. Like, maybe football should go away. Don't get me wrong. I love football.
I don't think.
I think a more evolved species, like human beings in 200 years, I would
Football should
hope.
go away. Yeah, okay.
I would hope football and boxing and these things. We don't do the gladiators anymore, right? Like, we evolved past that. We
Well,
said, hold on, we're not going to sick tigers on the fucking people anymore.
And I guess I will say that gladiators were slaves and they were forced into that.
Right.
Nobody is
Which
being
is much
forced
worse,
into
obviously.
this, which is
Okay, hold on.
so
One
it's like
more point there,
okay.
though. Because you're not going to find a whole lot of well-to-do people with well-to-do backgrounds that are boxing or in the NFL. Not over in general.
Okay, but-
they're going to come from tougher upbringings, and that's why they chose that sport. You don't choose to get hit in the head all the time if you can go make $1 million for your dad's company.
I mean,
why would you do that? It's usually because you did come from a tough background to begin with.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a blanket statement. Maybe the NFL, but I think that's kind of like hockey's a very.
I'm talking boxing in the NFL. Hockey and baseball and basketball are all very different in that. But the two violent sports I'm talking about, the two big violent sports, the people that are in it, I mean, like Manny Pacquiao and Money Mayweather, both of them from extreme poverty. I mean, Pacquiao was 14 and homeless. And Mayweather had a father that was in and out of prison and was totally poor his whole life too until he got into boxing and became a superstar. So I think you don't get there if you grew up with a guy with a dad that works on Wall Street. I don't think you don't even get to the first step.
Manning, we're talking about like the white boys of the NFL, like the Manning brothers and like Tom Brady didn't come from like good backgrounds. Like, are we talking about?
You're
are we talking about cultures about black men in NFL?
You're talking about the 1%.
And then you start, but then you think about how many. What is your percentage? What is your Like, how many people that play football and want to play football professionally make it to a professional level? Very
a tiny,
little.
tiny percent.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't think we can make a blanket cultural statement about the NFL like that when we're talking about such a small, minute amount of people in America that play violent sports.
I think you can, though, because when such a small amount does, and then such a high percentage of them do have a tough background story, to me, those kind of go hand in hand.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Really.
And again,
I think
I'm definitely. I guarantee you, there's a percentage of the NFL who were rich kids. I mean, that's for sure. But I think, especially with boxing, I mean, you can really look at almost every superstar boxer and their background, and it wasn't an easy one. What
yeah, I mean, it's sure okay. It's might be more culturally, in a certain way. People from rough neighborhoods, have more boxing gyms. I don't know. I'm like, again,
they see it as a way out, is what I'm saying. Whereas the white, not even necessarily white, but just any rich kid is not going to go, well, yeah, I'm going to fight to get out of the ghetto. There's no ghetto.
That's what I'm saying. As a way out, the chances of making it out are so small to begin with, and everybody knows that. No one starts playing football in high school. Like, very few people start playing football in high school, and they're like, this is my dream. I want to make it to the NFL. Like, you recognize those few people every once in a while. They're like, that dude has talent. That dude's going to make it to the NFL. He's going there. But even way back when you start, you know if you're not going to make it. Like, your chances are slim to none. Like, I don't think anyone joins sports as a way to, get out of something good.
Remember, though, there are still parents of children that think their kids in 4th grade are going to be professionals.
And that's also a very small amount. And those are rich white parents that are investing thousands of dollars in their kids' training to be a professional athlete. When normally it is the good kid who grew up who worked his way through his fucking shitty ass high school football team with no money, just as raw talent. You know what I mean?
No, I do.
All the kids I know, they were that rich white kids that became good athletes. Amazing athletes. Made it to junior level something,
Usually, yeah.
Nobody makes it to the NFL.
No, it's 0.001%, I'm sure. Something like that. Something crazy like that.
They give a better chance of winning the lottery.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Maybe.
But yet, we still tell our kids you can be anything you want when they're kids. We lie to them and lie to them. God, we're jerks. All right, we are already halfway through the show. Let's take a quick break.
I think I'm going to be realistic with my kids.
What? What are you going to tell them? Well, settle for mediocrity because that's what you're looking at in life.
Do what you want to do, but be realistic about your talents. Wow, you really you really think that's going to happen?
So you're going to shoot down your kids' dreams really early.
No, I think they should be involved. I just want them to be realistic. The most important thing is to get good grades and to have different plans in your life. Plan A and Plan B.
I agree with what you're saying. The execution part I'm interested to hear about. That'll be I don't
know. My parents were pretty realistic with me.
Were they?
For sure.
I don't remember. I remember always telling my mom I was going to be a professional something and buy her a house, but that didn't ever work out. But she never said, why don't you stick on those books there, bud? Which she probably should have. All right, we'll take a break and we'll be right back. The Minnesota Pubcast.
Hey everybody, this is comedian Paul Mercurio, and I'm very excited to say that I packed up my podcast, The Paul Mercurio Show, which wasn't my first choice for a name. My first choice was Go Ahead, Touch It, but apparently that didn't test well. Well, I'm taking my podcast and I'm moving it to the Alive and Social Network, which is weird because I'm neither alive nor very social. I've interviewed a few people you might know, like Sir Paul McCartney. Yeah, that guy. He was in a band or something. I'm not sure. Stephen Colbert, Bob Costas, Jay Leno, Stone Cold Steve Austin, Kristen Chenoweth, and many, many more. I've won Emmy and Peabody Awards for my work on The Daily Show. I've had my own Comedy Central special, been on HBO, and I'm excited to be part of the new network. The Paul Mercurio Show is available on iTunes, Android, and available at paulmercurio.com. Listen to my show every week. Every week you will get rich. How? I give you a foolproof method to go out and make $100,000 without ever leaving your couch. Okay, that's a lie, but the podcast, it's good.
Join longtime radio personality and producer Kelly Guest and friend, CEO of Fantasy Gifts, Colleen Bertino, as they talk about all things sex, men, women. Lend them your ears and learn everything you wanted to know about sex and intimacy. Only here on the Alive and Social Network.
And we're back. What's your name, fool? What's that?
Don't sing that line. What's your name, fool?
What's your name, fool?
Hey, what's your name, fool?
All right, we're back. What do you
Oh,
want?
this drink is making me tired.
The weather?
This drink.
Oh, the drink. What are you drinking, by the way?
A little sangria.
That's not a little sangria. How full was that when you left your place?
Yeah, but sangria is like a mixture of juices and wine.
True.
Well, how full was it? Like here?
All right, that's a solid amount.
Did I stop drinking it?
No, I love it.
It's in a Columbia water bottle so that people think it's, like
it actually looks like it would just be
Gatorade.
like some kind of juice. It doesn't look like you're drinking alcohol. I never would have guessed that was alcohol. Then again, I should have known you.
You're supposed to go
would have
work
thought,
out after
it must
this.
Be. Actually, I got a buddy that works out all the time and says working out with a little buzz is a good thing.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean, just
Okay.
because I think that you
mean,
get a
this
little
is-
energy off of it, actually.
Really? Because I'm.
But you're forgetting the falling down buzz, not the uplifting buzz. Anyway, okay, one
Don't
more.
you get kind of sleepier after one beer?
Yes, I'm 2/3
Like
of the
a
way through this one, and
vodka
I'm
Red
kinda
Bull.
tired, yeah.
Or like a whiskey Coke? Like, yeah, you're getting sugar.
Well, the sugar in beer too.
I guess.
But I suppose
Probably
there'd
not
be
if you
some in
had
the
some
sangria,
Coca-Cola.
especially the juice too. Oh God! Speaking of that Twins game when we went this weekend, I drank like 5 different types of alcohol that day. I think.
It sucks.
That was really stupid. God, I was acting like a kid that day. Anyway, okay. Well, speaking of sports, real quick, so the FSN North girls are gone. Since we're still on the sports vibe, we might as well stick with
Peace.
it. What the fuck was that? Like,
They've been
who
on for a
thought-
while.
They were on for a long time. Who
It's
thought
the-
that was a good idea to
It's the
begin with?
same shit as the girl in the bikini that brings around the round card in
Yeah.
a boxing match.
In 1920, I get it. You got the cigarette girl and you got the
It's
girl in
the
the
same-
bikini.
and
I
it's
get
the
it. But
same,
how are those
you know.
people still like? Haven't those owners of teams and all that died off? Like, why do we?
No,
I
apparently
guess
you
not.
guys still think that women should only be prizes to look at.
Well,
I mean, you do sometimes. You talk about them that way.
oh, absolutely. I'm completely superficial. Or women are objects completely.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's funny because FSN even itself, and I think we've talked about.
It's getting kind of dark in here.
Oh, see, I worked in a dark studio. I like that.
Yeah, but I'm getting tired.
I love the dark studio. Shoot, what was I gonna say now?
You should turn on the one that goes up though, so it, because that one, that lamp, it points down and it just. Do you know what I
This is
mean?
I deal with every show. Okay?
Yeah, but that lamp. Okay, that's good. See, now that the light is dispersed more, it doesn't give such a strange effect, like a spotlight effect.
Need a webcam. What I was gonna say though is we've talked about Jamie Hirsch. I think she's the FSN kind of anchor or one of them.
Okay.
And she's very good looking, but she's not there just for her looks. But I guarantee,
Yeah,
obviously, looks help too. But like
She's
Wes
reporting.
Walls is partially there because he's a good-looking dude
She's
too.
reporting.
Yeah, but the FSN girls, they were just there to like
This
introduce
is Fox
segments.
Sports North.
Yeah.
You're watching Fox Sports North.
And that's exactly how they talk too. God,
You're watching Fox Sports North.
I just want to know.
Go Wild. Home of the Minnesota Wild. What else did they say?
I don't know. Thankfully, I
They
usually
were
watch
really
games
cute
at bars,
girls.
so I can't hear them. Yeah, they can all use a sandwich. But what I don't understand is they're just all rail thin. They all look like me. That was
Oh, they
all.
need a sandwich.
Yeah, like they could eat
I
it.
was like, what? They look like a sandwich?
No, they don't look like a sandwich.
I
would be
was like,
a
I've never heard of this term before. What does that mean?
But I don't understand. I mean, first of all, I'd love to know what they were getting paid. It wasn't much, obviously.
it couldn't
but,
have been much.
But I just want to know who are they going for? Because you're not getting women, that's for sure. I think a lot
No.
of women are out there going, that's gross, or that's sexist, or just not interested at all. They just
I mean, I still think it's weird that the Wild only have girls that come and scrape the ice
in super tight spandex pants and tight little shirts too.
with their hair down.
Yep.
I'm like, technically you're doing a job.
Yeah, you're
Like,
at work.
You're at work. Why are there 4 of you in a line doing that?
You've never seen the Florida ones. I think it's the Panthers. They're in bikinis.
It's kind of
It's
like
it's like
cheerleaders.
heat
It's like
cheerleaders.
cheerleaders, yeah.
But it's
At least cheerleaders, like, at least they're dancing.
there's at least some sort of a purpose
Yeah.
to that, I guess. But
I mean, the girls that I know that are Viking cheerleaders are immensely talented women.
yeah, no, and even like the ice girls, when I see them, I go, "Oh, wow, they're hot," or a couple of them are hot.
I can't even see their faces. They're just moving around a
Well,
lot.
if you got good seats,
It's
but
funny when they fall, though.
that's not funny in front of all those people. You gotta feel badly for them. But
No, I don't. What? That's part of your job.
that's true.
Every once in a while, you're going to fall.
But I just don't understand. I would never go if that became 30-year-old men that started doing the shoveling job. I would never go. Oh, I don't want to go to a Wild game anymore. And it's the same with the FSN girls. Like I would never start watching FSN or stop watching FSN because of them.
Exactly.
So I don't. So why are you paying them, and what fucking
Right.
purpose did they solve or serve? I don't get it.
Just
Other than just pretty faces.
mindless in between entertainment that they think are going to entertain the men that are like, dumb beer drinking idiots who just stare at the TV.
So it's not only degrading to the women, it's also considering your audience to be a bunch of buffoons.
Sure.
Jeez.
I think so.
Well done, FSN. Well done.
I mean, maybe there are some guys out there that like that shit still.
Well,
but
they
it's
would
like,
go
really?
to-
That's what you like. You like seeing 3 girls on screen who don't
they'd go to
who
events
don't add
and
anything besides staring at their faces.
they'd go to events and take pictures with people and stuff.
Well, I know that's
Why
so
would you want
weird.
your picture taken with a chick that nobody knows who doesn't do anything?
I don't know. It's like they were trying to get like a mascot or something, but get a mascot.
You know what though? We do have a mascot.
Fox- Fox-
FSN should have one. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, Fox Sports has one. The stupid robot. You've seen that
Sure.
on football games. Yeah. They have
Okay.
a mascot.
Fine. That's a digitized mascot. At least it doesn't offend anybody.
No, there's so many things they could do better than the FSN girls.
Yeah.
I am very glad to see that go.
Well,
And
it sounds like they kind of realized that, they weren't actually adding any viewers and they weren't making them retain any viewers.
right, but
They weren't turning anybody away, but nobody gives a shit.
Right.
Right? Just nobody cares. Like, I really don't think that's a thing anymore. But that's still used as a marketing tactic. I mean, women
Sex sells. I get
women
that.
that serve really no purpose besides just being an object to sell you something because of their beauty. That still is a marketing tactic today.
I suppose.
It's just
Maybe it
Gross.
works. Maybe it worked on me subconsciously a bit, where I don't even realize it. But again,
Probably.
obviously not enough, or they would have kept him. You know.
But like, and what is it? What is it? Well, I guess you have to subscribe to get Fox Sports North, but the game is going to make me subscribe to get Fox Sports North.
Correct.
I want to watch The Wild.
Right.
I don't give 3 shits about 3 girls that I see look like everyone else in Minnesota that are cute.
Well, if we want to bash FSN a little more quickly here, I don't like anything about how they cover the teams. I don't like that they are employees of the teams. I would like to see the commentators cover the teams and actually tell you what's going on instead of just what they want you to tell you,
Right.
to know. And
Well, that's the most important thing about sports is you want good reporting, you want good coverage,
honest reporting.
right? And you want good reporters.
But do you know that Suhan used to be on FSN? He used to do Wolves games.
No, I didn't know that. I mean, he might have told me that, but I forgot.
I think he lasted a month, maybe, because he'd actually bash the team after the game.
Sure.
You know, and I guarantee you, because he is a journalist and he is a good one, he's not just going, he sucks and he sucks. I mean, what content would that provide? Like, I guarantee you, he's giving an opinion that's interesting, and he is telling you that
giving
team
good
is very
analysis.
Yes.
You want good, thought-provoking analysis.
And
I mean, that's why a
not
lot
what
of
FSN
guys
does.
are watching. Guys watch sports for thought-provoking analysis and to actually be entertained by the sports.
Yep. And that's why, if you want it, you don't.
And
watch
women
FSN.
women watch sports to be entertained by the sports. I'm not watching football to see my favorite hot player.
Right.
I mean, it's the same thing.
No, you want to watch the game.
We're pretty
It's
much
about
all there for the reason.
the
Same
actual
reason.
spectacle. all right, let's shoot.
What?
Well, let's take our last break, actually. We'll take a quick break. And we'll come back and we're going to talk a little bit of beer. We'll talk about where to drink beer with your dog. Because I would imagine that's still interesting to you. Did you have a couple of spots you at least want to mention to people? Well, not right now, but I'm saying, do you have a couple of good spots?
Yeah, but they're all on the list,
there?
though.
They are on
they're
there?
all on Jerry's list, pretty much.
Yeah, Jerry, our City Pages correspondent.
We should just get Jerry on to talk about these.
We should probably talk to Jerry about the City Pages being bought by the Star Tribune today, too.
Oh.
That is going to be interesting. And Vitamin disappeared today. Vitamin no longer exists.
What?
Because of this merger. Apparently, the Star Tribune bought City Pages.
I thought when they were talking about... So Vitamin posted something to Instagram or whatever, and it was like, Mad Men's finale is coming up in 2 weeks, and it's going to be our last
soiree.
And I was like, oh, that makes sense. It's Vitamin's final soiree for Mad Men. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's their last soiree.
What?
Vitamin is no longer. So you're going to have...
I liked Vitamin.
I never read Vitamin, but...
I read City Pages more, but I liked Vitamin.
Well, I just, knowing that we only had 2 publications that really kind of covered entertainment and food and that kind of stuff, and that corner
from a local
of
free level.
Right. I thought that it was... I didn't know there was only 2 of them anyway, but I always just kind of read the City Pages.
That's pretty good, though. I mean, City Pages and Vitamin were pretty high quality for any metro area.
But that's what I never like when they just... I shouldn't say I never like, but I don't like the thought of them just becoming one now and getting rid of Vitamin. Like, I feel like we're going to lose another angle to look at things.
Absolutely.
You know?
I mean, I loved having 2. It's not like they were like hard-hitting
news
sources.
No.
But it's nice to have 2.
And the other thing I did read about that, too, just if you're interested, is they're going to have to probably change up those ads. Star Tribune apparently doesn't want... the same City Pages ads. I thought that was part of the character of City Pages.
Totally.
All right, we'll come back and we'll get into that a little bit. And then what else do we have? Oh, we can talk a little standardized testing. That's always fun, too.
We got some John Oliver.
A little John Oliver for you right here on the Minnesota Podcast.